Shocking, wilderness the size of Mexico lost worldwide in just 13 years, study finds.
Here's a summary of the article.
Wilderness across the planet is disappearing on a huge scale, according to a new study that found human activities had converted an area the size of Mexico from virtually intact natural landscapes to heavily modified ones in just 13 years. Some 1.1 meters square km of wilderness identified from imagery in 2000 had some human impact 13 years later. Lead researcher Brooke Williams, of the University of Queensland, told The Guardian, "We were expecting there to be high levels of intact ecosystem and wilderness loss, but the results were shocking. We found substantial area of intact ecosystems had been lost in just 13 years, nearly 2 million square kilometers, which is terrifying to think about. Our findings show that human pressure is extending ever further into the last ecologically intact and wilderness areas." Looking across 221 nation-states, only 26 had at least half of their land intact, the study found. In 2013, 41% of the world's surface was either wilderness or was mostly intact. The study comes after research earlier this week found that protected areas around the world, such as national parks and World Heritage areas, were becoming isolated.
This post received a score of 16,000, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
It's literally not shocking at all for anyone paying attention.
Which is why most people choose to ignore it all.
And also why ignoring it makes it worse.
RIP Planet Earth.
Honest question, in regards to saving the planet, does it really care? Like if the human race just gets wiped out due to climate change, surely it will just continue without us. It's unlikely that the human race causes the plant to cease to exist. However, it is a near certainty that we morph it into something that is uninhabitable for humans.
Edit, please feel free to downvote, but for what it's worth I am a licensed environmental engineer and am speaking with an above-average knowledge base on climate change issues. I recently commented and the flare is visible if you were questioning my credentials. I am just clarifying the messaging because I think hyperbole makes it easy for climate skeptics to dismiss actual science. I prefer factual-based communication that avoids subjective interpretation or politics.
Would it be correct to say uninhabitable for modern human civilization? Could a limit of habitable zones and decrease in population fuck up society so much to bring about a total undo the mechanics of our continued collective?
Well, if you put 100 normal people together, then making some real electronics is going to be a bigger achievement than putting people on the moon.
For reference, Mexico, Europe overlaid size comparison.
WTF, Europe is tiny.
The US and all of Europe have almost the same amount of area, granted Alaska kind of inflates that a bit, well, and places like Montana are also a bit sparsely populated.
Well, not really shocking, since over the past 13 years the world population increased by over 1 billion people. It blows my mind that just 100 years ago there were maybe 2 billion people on the Earth, now this has basically quadrupled. Of course there will continue to be massive consequences.
We will be victims of our own success.
We already kind of are, depending on how you look at things.
Rachel, do you like our owl? Deckard, it's artificial? Rachel, of course it is. Deckard, looks expensive. Rachel, very.
What's shocking is nothing will be done about.
Fascist science-denying politicians have to go. This was a code red a decade ago. We are so fucked.
Let's change that narrative. How about those propagating this, are so fucked?
We literally harvest every resource from this planet to fuel our desires without caring about the repercussions or future, and then statements like this are released as shocking. Lol, how do humans manage to be so fucking ignorant?
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.